So we're OROX, high-grade gold exploration in Peru. Quickly on the forward-looking disclaimer, I will be making some forward-looking statements, so read that as discussed by the core team. OROX, look, I think as Gwen mentioned, anytime you invest in a company, you really want to look at the track record of the team. This is a company where the three main partners are myself, Paul Matisic, and Daryl Carty. I don't have to really introduce Paul Matisic to anyone who invests in junior mining. He's had 5 successful exits. We are named OROX because we are a continuation of the X brand. Lithium X got sold for $280 million to the Chinese in the last lithium cycle. Paul's currently the CEO of GoldX, which is developing the Toroparu project in Guyana. And I am the CEO of OROX, which is going after high-grade assets in Peru. Obviously, the track record of the team is important. Won't get too much into that. Investment highlights. I would look at OROX really as we go, before we go into the projects, as an opportunity to acquire a team and a vehicle that we think will be a consolidator in Peru for assets that we're currently looking at. Hence the disclaimer about forward-looking statements. We currently have 42 million shares out. We raised $6 million about a month and a half ago after we paid the $2 million for the asset that we acquired. We have about $4 million in the bank. So we have a tight share structure with heavy insider ownership, where myself, Paul, and the team own, about 25% of the company. Why Peru? I mean, anyone who invests in mining, I don't really have to give the speech on Peru. I am Peruvian. I was born there. I grew up in Lima until I moved to Canada for university, worked at Canaccord, launched a South American business for Canaccord in 2010. After that, I went back to Peru full-time in 2013, so I currently live in Lima. So I'll get into the projects quickly, but just I want investors to know one thing. When I talk about our projects, we talk about Coriorco, which is our flagship. That's the yellow project here in the north. And then Las Santas is the same project, but we've just divided it into 2 for a very specific reason, which is permitting, that I'll get into shortly. So I'd like to touch on this slide. What is Coriorco? Coriorco is a 2,000-hectare project. It's in the Ayacucho region of Peru. Paul and I had our eyes on this project for a long time because in 2010 and 2011, 2 out of the currently known 17 veins were mined by a local group, and they were sent to a toll mill. The production was sold to a toll mill that we're friends with. So we actually got our hands on the production records for these 2 veins that you can see here in the Coriorco Dome, and we figured out that they produce about 10,000 tons of 7 to 10 gram material. So that was interesting to us. In case you can't, the 2 veins here are part of a 17 vein system in an outcropping dome, right? So you have 17 veins, 2 were mined. As you can see, this dome sort of pops out upwards from the ground. There's 17 veins there. In 2018, the previous operator did a systematic sampling program across all 17 of those veins, and the average grade at surface on the veins was 3.5 grams. So the way we looked at it is we have 3.5 grams on top, on the outcrops, 10 grams production in the underlying adits, and then in one of in vein 6, you had a little decline which went down 50 meters below, and the grade was 13 grams per ton there. So the way we look at it, and our team looks at it, is we think that Coriorco is really the upper reaches of a low sulfidation epithermal system. When the opportunity came to acquire this asset earlier this year, we jumped at it. We acquired it. We own an option to acquire 100% of it right now. And there's been geomag done, there's been geochem. So we think the target's quite drill ready. Now, I mentioned earlier that we split up the project into 2, Coriorco in the north and Las Santas in the south. Some of the investors here probably know permitting in Peru can be quite a minefield. Usually you're looking at about 2 years to get drill permits. The reason why we split up the projects is because Peru actually has what's called a small scale mining operator regime, which is only allowed for Peruvian residents, of which of course I am. So by splitting up Coriorco and Las Santas into 2 projects, that will allow us to basically go in there now. We're actually in the project now, and we hope to be drilling from inside the old adits as soon as Q1 or Q2 of next year. Before we do it, of course, we currently have announced the start of a 3D IP program over the property. As you can see in this exploration potential slide, 2 of the veins have been mined. There's 17 known veins. Because the veins outcrop, we think that towards the east and northeast, a lot of other veins are covered under younger geology, and we're hoping that the 3D IP will sort of outline that. So Coriorco, we look at it as a large, high high grade, low sulfidation epithermal target. Our internal target there is, 1 million ounces plus minus of high grade. If we can drill into the veins and, build any sort of tonnage that will get us closer to our system, we believe that we can operate this under small scale mining permit in Peru and can get us going as soon as next year. And we're fully funded for our campaign. Las Santas, I won't get too much into. It's obviously the southern extension of Coriorco. I would note, however, that all around our project, which in total is 3,700 hectares, Fresnillo has staked all around us. We bought this project from a lovely lady in Peru whose father was actually the head of geology for Hochschild Mining, which is a large Peruvian silver producer. This was his project that he had in his portfolio, and we bought it from his daughter last year. I would also note that when we took over the shell that became OROX in June of this year, we did that transaction and we invested in a project called Julian in Ecuador. I only touched into Julian because we have announced that we will be spinning out the Ecuador assets. And I would note that in Ecuador, our partner is Green Oil. Who is Green Oil? They are actually Ecuador's largest mining contractor. In 2017, they started up Ecuador's first and only commercial open pit gold mine. And through them, we have a suite of opportunities in the country that will be used as to spin out assets for Ecuador spin out, which should happen Q1 of next year. So, upcoming catalysts, we're currently starting the 3-day IP over Coriorco. In Q4 2020, I think, we'll be looking at a lot of M&A opportunities. We have 42 million shares out, a tight share structure, cash in the bank, and a team has been proven to go after big assets. So, we're certainly looking at that. Q1 2021, the Ecuador asset spin out, and then Q2 2021, hopefully beginning of drilling at Coriorco.